Daf Yomi, tractate Bava Batra, page 144a, starting from 143b at the bottom. It was in the middle of an idea. The Gemara asked, is that so? But doesn't Rabbi Chanina say that even if their father left them nothing, and now we're on top of 144a, Udaini hasachar le'emtza, even if their father left them nothing but a mortar, Udaini is a mortar. What's a mortar? That mortar was like cement. A mortar? Mortar is building material. Oh, or it could be a weapon. A short-barreled portable cannon that fired explosive shells at low speeds and high angles. Or a bowl. Like a mortar and a pestle. Pestle. Okay, anyway, if their father only left them that, which people pay to use, the rent goes to the middle? The rent goes to the middle, what does that mean? But isn't the profit accruing from a mortar considered profit accruing on his... Okay, mortar must mean something else here. It must mean... They're referring to it like... Let's see if we can get it from the context. Adults... See here. But isn't the profit accruing from the mortar considered profit accruing? I mean, the adult son, his own account, as the adult son must supervise its operation, and there is no outlay for the property. The Gemara dismisses the objection. A mortar is different, as for its typical use it can suffice with supervision, and even minors are able to supervise its use. Since the adults do not contribute to anything more than the minors, they cannot demand a greater share of the profits. Maybe it's a bowl. Anyway, Amru Rauma Shinyachaba Hare Anu Oisin Oichlin Hishpichu Liatzman Rasafra Shavakabu Azuze Shakilin Hu Avad Buhu Iska Ato Achi Ta'avuhu Bedina Kame Drava Amar Luhu Rasafra Gavra Rabahu Lo Shavik Girse Vetarach Leachline. The Mishnah teaches, if the adult sons said from the outset, see that which our father left behind, we are going to engage in business with our share of the property and profit from it, then they enhance the property for themselves. The Gemara relates, Rav Sofer's father left him dinars. Rav Sofer took them and entered into a business venture with them. His brothers came and charged him in a court of law before Rava, claiming their share of the profits. Rava said to them, Rav Sofer is a great man. He does not abandon his studies and toil for others. It is therefore clear that if he invested the money, it was for his own profit, even if he did not explicitly declare so at the outset. Ha'isha shehishbicha et sanechosi mishbicha liemta. Isha b'nechzi yasmi maya videte. The Mishnah teaches with regard to a wife who enhanced the property of her deceased husband, she enhanced it so that the profit goes to the middle. The Gemara asks, what is the deceased wife doing with the orphan's property? What rights does she have to the property? Rav Yirmiyah said the Mishnah is referring to a wife who is an heiress. If she were the daughter of her husband's brother, and both brothers die without leaving sons, in which case she inherits her father's instead. Pshita, isn't it obvious? Mahu detema kivan delav. Dar kilometrach afal gav delo parish kmo de parish dami kamashmalan. Isn't it obvious that the halacha is, in this case, is the same as with regard to any other heir? The Gemara replies, it is necessary to state this, lest you say that since it is not a woman's way to toil to enhance property, then even though she did not expressly state that she is toiling for herself, it is considered as though she had expressly stated this. The Mishnah teaches us that only if she expressly stated this do the profits accrue to her. V'im amra ra'u ma shaniach li ba'ali hareini osa ve'ocheles ishbich li'asma pshita ma'udatema kiva nishbich la milsa di amraka tarcha kameyasme achola achala kamashmalan. The Mishnah teaches, and if she said, see that which my husband left me, I am going to engage in business with my share and profit from it, then she enhanced the property for herself. The Gemara asks, isn't this obvious? The Gemara explains it is necessary to state this, lest you say that since it is praiseworthy for her to enhance the property on behalf of the orphans, as people will say, see how she toils for the orphans, she relinquishes her right to the profits, and they should divide them equally. The Mishnah teaches us that this is not the case. Amar Rabbi Chanino, Amasi Isha Lino Bais, Kano V'davka Gado V'davka Basula, V'davka Ishto Rishoina, V'davka Shehisi Orishon. Rabbi Chanina says, in the case of one who marries a woman to his eldest son and arranges the wedding feast in a house that he designated for the purpose of the wedding canopy and the wedding feast, the son acquires the house as a gift. The Gemara notes, and this is the halacha specifically in the case of the eldest son, and specifically if he is marrying a virgin, and specifically when this woman is his first wife, and specifically when the father married him off first among his sons. When all these conditions exist, it is presumed that the father has a particular fondness toward the son, due to which he gave him the house. Pshita Yachelo Aviv Bayis Va'alio Bayis Kona Aliyah Loi Kona Bayis V'achsadro Mahu Shnei Batim Lifnim Mizeh Mahu Teiku. The Gemara clarifies the details of this halacha. It is obvious that if his father designated a house for the son's nuptials and there is an upper story above the house, the son acquired the house, but he did not acquire the upper story. If he designated a house for the son and there is a portico in front of the house, what is the halacha? If there were two houses, one within the other, and the inner one was designated for the son's nuptials, what is the halacha? The Gemara concludes, these questions shall stand unresolved. Shall stand unresolved. Meisvei. The Gemara raises an objection from a brayso. Yachid lo aviv bayis ukli bayis kli bayis kana bayis lo kana. Amar Yerim yakugoyin shahoya oisera shelavi munach sham. Nardoi amri afilu shevocha dayoni. Dayoni. Rav Yehuda Rav Papi Amri afilu atzitza di harsana Marzutra anas be lebare utela le sandala. Ravashi anas be lebare utela le ashisha de mishcha. The Gemara raises an objection from a brayta. If his father designated a house and furniture for his son's nuptials, the son acquired the furniture, but he did not acquire the house. Rabbi Yirmiyah says this is referring to a case where his father's storeroom was placed there. It is clear that just as his father did not intend to give him the storeroom, neither did he intend to give him the house. The sages of Narda say, even if there is only a dovecote in the house that belongs to the father, the son does not acquire the house. Rav Yehuda and Rav Papi say, even if there is only a pot of small fried fish, the son does not acquire the house. Marzutra married off his son and hung a sandal in the house to indicate that he did not intend to give the house as a gift. Rav Ashi married off his son and hung a jug of oil in the house. Amar Marzutra, ha nitlas mili shavinu rabbanon kiroch zabrotaimo. Chadaha, idach Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, ha koisev kona chasav li ishto lo asa ela apotrope. Idach damarav menali biyadcha tinehu diploini b'ma'amad shloshtan kana. Marzutra says these three matters were instituted by the sages as a halacha without any explanation of their process, meaning that they instituted these enactments despite the fact that the mechanism by which they function is unclear. One is this halacha with regard to the son acquiring the house designated for his nuptials. Another is that which Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says, one who writes a deed granting all of his property to his wife renders her only a steward of his property, meaning that he intends only to put her in charge of the property and she does not acquire it. Another is that which Rav says with regard to one who says to another, I have 100 dinars in your possession, give it to so-and-so. If this occurred in the presence of all three parties, that third person acquires it without need of witnesses or a formal act of acquisition. And it finishes off exactly right here. So next Amud, God willing, we'll start with the Mishnah.